against some of the ICE agents in Minnesota. Can you explain some of the action that's been taken just as of today?
Well, as of today, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office and the Attorney General's Office together have filed charges against the people who shot Julio Sosa-Celis in North Minneapolis on January 14th. The officer involved is a fellow who is now, there's an active arrest warrant for him. And, he is an individual who is being sought out. His name is Christian Castro. He is an Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent. And he is charged with shooting Julio Sosa-Celis, as I noted before. So that's what's going on. That charge is as of today. Already the Hennepin County attorney, without my involvement, has charged individuals were pointing guns at a moving car in traffic. And that was charged out as a second-degree assault terroristic threat only a few days ago. And that individual is not yet in custody, but there is an active warrant for his arrest. So right now there have been 2 criminal charges, and there is an active investigation on the individuals who, you may remember this, and Crocs. And he was the wrong person. He wasn't even the guy they wanted, but they dragged him out of his home and had him in sub-zero temperature. The Ramsey County attorney is actively pursuing that matter. Now, you may want to know about the Good matter and the Preddy matter.
Yep.
They are under active investigation right now. We still have not received any cooperation from the federal government. That is no deterrent. There's no such thing as absolute immunity in the context of this matter. So just because you don't see it every day doesn't mean we're not working on it every day. We are working on it every day.
Now, in terms of these cases, prior to you discussing Preddy and Renee Good, has the federal government been an obstacle to those charges, or have they been cooperative, or neither?
They have never been cooperative in any sense. They simply have not been helpful. And this is, I will tell you, Brian, this is weird because we work with the feds all the time.
Right.
We work with the feds on task forces involving everything from sex trafficking, human trafficking, labor trafficking, fentanyl, drug trafficking. We work with the feds on the regular. And I'm saying FBI, DEA, Treasury, different types of officers are very familiar to us around here. So simply because Trump wants to do this what I regard as illegal action against the state of Minnesota, and we filed a civil lawsuit on that, but that is when the cooperation ended. By the way, Brian, let me just remind everybody, these folks are always saying, oh, the state of Minnesota should have just cooperated when it came to Operation Metro Surge. Well, we did, but they never cooperated with us.
Has the federal government threatened to deprive you of any resources given the fact that you've gone after ICE agents who've broken the law?
Not in connection with that. So we haven't heard, you're now prosecuting these people, so we're going to take this from you. Right. Not that. But they've done it in multiple other occasions, right? So they're saying that they're withholding our Medicaid funding. Right. They're withholding our educational funds. They're withholding funds connected to, they tried to, regarding National Institute of Health. We sued them and got that back. They tried to withhold money regarding AmeriCorps. We sued them on that one. They tried to withhold money on a whole range of things. I could keep naming them, but I don't know if you want a comprehensive list. Folks can go to my website and see it all. But like whether it's National Institute of Health, AmeriCorps, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance, they have been trying to take money that has rightfully supposed to come to Minnesota on multiple occasions. The total, Brian, is $7.3 billion that they've tried to take from us, but we have successfully defended from them.
In terms of the impending or possible prosecutions of the ICE agents who shot and killed Renee Good and Alex Preddy, is there some concern that the federal government might try and Bigfoot you guys at the state level so that they can take over the prosecution and then, of course, just basically seek to dismiss it? Yeah. I mean, they're very much in the same way that they did for Eric Adams in New York, where they wanted to be able to wield him as a tool at the local level, but ultimately their goal was never to prosecute him.
Well, what you're saying, I mean, I had no role in the Kyle Rittenhour case, but when I watch it, I look at a prosecutor who doesn't seem very motivated to prosecute this case all on its own. So we would never do what Trump does and engage in vindictive prosecution. I think that's morally wrong. But we certainly would charge out a case where the facts of the matter violate, the law and hold those people accountable. And they can't stop us from doing that. The reason that we haven't charged the case out isn't because they can stop us. It's because they have withheld the file. And, I tell you, Brian, I used to be a criminal defense lawyer for 16 years. And if I was a criminal defense lawyer, first thing I'd say is, where's the file? They didn't have the whole file, So I think there's probable cause in both Preddy and Good to charge the case. I just think that we should try to do all we can to get the file. You may know we have filed a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security because they have a final agency action denying us access, and there's no legal basis for them to do so. So that matter is being litigated in the civil context to make them give us the documents and materials that we're entitled to complete our investigation.
There was reports of some federal prosecutors who had left the DOJ as the result of how the DOJ was comporting itself, with these ICE agents and so on. Are any of those folks working alongside you all at the state level, given the fact that, if the DOJ isn't going to do it, at least there are prosecutors, good prosecutors who are willing to do this work at the Minnesota state level?